we've had the chance to stop, and we actually would never have been able to do that in our whole entire existence. Like, we haven't been able to stop in my generation, in all of our generations who are alive. I think that it's weirdly been the moment where everyone has had a chance to think to themselves, what makes me happy? Like, what do I actually want? And it's given people a chance to think about themselves, which I think is something that people think is quite selfish to do, but it's not. I think that's what I'm trying to tell people. It's so not selfish to think of yourself, to put yourself first right now, because I tried not doing that ever. I was always concentrated on other people, wanting other people to be happy. And I wanted that. So, and I still do, obviously, but it got to the point where I was just empty. I was like, I have nothing left to give. And my manager, she's obviously a massive part of this journey, my manager, but she said to me, like, how are you supposed to give to other people when you ain't got anything to give? And I was like, oh my God, yeah. And I had a little cry. I love to cry.
I love to
And
cry.
oh, and yeah, started that journey really of figuring that all out. Putting yourself first makes it possible to give other people more than you've ever given before.
I think it's such a widely misunderstood notion that we've got to just, like you say, give and give, or go to like martyrdom and, you know, sacrifice everything of ourselves for other people. But if you're not happy, what's the point? And also, it's that weird thing, isn't it? I was having this conversation with somebody last night. He was saying, well, how can I ever, my friend was saying, you know, how can I ask the universe or put that thought out there that I wanted a certain thing, or that I, you know, wanted, whether it's love or to not feel as awful anymore, when there are people who have awful illnesses and desperate situations. And we kind of chatted it out and came to the conclusion that your suffering isn't going to help people that are already suffering. That's not going to elevate them in any way, because you feel equally as shit. If you can get yourself to a place of even just balance, it hasn't got to be euphoria, but just balance or feeling all right, then you're in a position to help if you feel like that's the right thing to do, or to share your own happiness to inspire others, or whatever it is. Maybe it's quite a British thing as well, that we have to be like, no, I don't deserve it, or it's so
Yeah.
strange. And it's, what's the point? We've got this one precious life. Why are we going to waste it being miserable, or like thinking we don't deserve to feel good, to feel
I
okay?
know.
It's so weird.
I
Like,
know.
at the start of your documentary, How to Be Anne-Marie, it seems like, you know, in that first moment, you've almost forgotten how to be you, because you quite clearly say, I don't know what makes me happy anymore. I don't know if it's touring, making music, sitting around. I don't know what it is. Is that still the case? Has this therapy kind of given you the clarity to go, I know what makes me feel good?
Yeah, because I was associating my career with unhappiness when it wasn't that. It was deep down that it was coming from. So having that thought in my head, well, my music's making me sad, that was really like, that was horrible for me to have that thought in my head. And then luckily, when we got to stop everything in lockdown, I was like, well, I'm still unhappy. So what's going on? So luckily, that moment made me think, oh, it's not music that's making me unhappy. It's actually just me. And I've got issues, you know, going on. So it was a great revelation that I found out that it wasn't music, because that would have been terrible. I would have
It
had
would
to
have
be
been
something else.
so shit. Isn't it funny? We all do this again. We need to blame something or someone.
Yeah.
It's because we
Yeah.
haven't got this thing, or we are doing this thing that we hate, or this person in my life. And, you know, like you've just illustrated there, that thing goes, and then you still have all those feelings. And you know, it's hard because not everybody can get access to therapy, and that's the massive shame of it. And that's what we need to have fundamental change with. But even if it
Yeah.
is just talking to someone that you trust and love, a great friend, to try and go, well, what is it? Like, is it a fear? Is it a self-limiting thought? What is it that is holding you back? I mean, is that something that you're willing to talk about, the underneath layers? We don't have to go there if you don't want to. Like, what was causing that unhappiness?
Well, I think it all stemmed from a massive insecurity of being not liked by people. That was like really from school. I wanted to be liked so bad because I wasn't. So I was like, my whole life was based around people liking me, doing stuff that made them like me. So I wasn't just doing stuff because I wanted to do it or it made me happy. My whole life was living through other people's eyes. Like, I have memory loss because I don't remember parts of my life because I wasn't fucking living it. Like, it was, so it really stems from that. And then anxiety comes from people not liking who I am, like beyond music. I feel like it's weird because people think I don't like people looking at me, or I don't like people talking about me or having a bad thought about me, and then going on stage and giving them the opportunity to do that. But I actually don't feel that on stage because it is just what it is. It's music. It's me as an artist. It doesn't go deeper than that. Whereas when I come off stage, that's where it's like really scary. But yeah, it's I have a lot of things. I have a lot of things going on. I'm hyper vigilant, hyper aware. I'm an empath. I have anxiety. I've suffered with depression. There's so much going on that have all come from things that I didn't know about until I spoke to someone about. And also, I didn't even know that I was having these things in my head until someone spoke about it. It didn't even have to be a therapist. It was just people talking about it online. Like, I didn't start my mental health journey until I saw people talking about it online. That's when I started figuring out what was going on with me. So it ain't just having to go to a therapist. It's just doing the research, finding out that millions of people have the answer really of what you're trying to look for online. That could be a stranger, your friends. 100% your friends can be your therapist. 100% one of your family members can be your therapist. 100% writing a diary every night has helped me. 100% writing songs has helped me. Like, there's not, I can't say go to a therapist and that will change your life, because it might not. That's not the answer to some people.
But it's never one thing, is it, either? It's never one thing.
No.
It has to be a whole 360 look at life and how you interact with life itself. It's so profound. And it's so interesting, just backtracking a little bit, but so often, however this might manifest in a plethora of ways, usually it's down to one thought. So your one thought is that you're not liked. My one thought always is I've done something wrong. So that has driven so many of my actions in life. I've done something wrong. I've done something wrong. I'm a bad person. I've done something wrong. And I can't even articulate why some of the time or what that fear is, but it drives so many actions and has driven so many of the negative mindsets that I've been dealing with. I've done something wrong. I'm trying to always prove that I'm okay to other people. I haven't done something wrong. I'm a good person or whatever. And you know, that's exhausting. That is
so exhausting
and ridiculous. And also then, like you say, plays into depression, anxiety, all these different things. And you've talked, you know, brilliantly and openly about anxiety in lots of different ways, in song form and in the documentary again. How does your anxiety tend to manifest? What does that look like on a daily basis?
All different kinds of levels. It can be, sometimes it manifests into quite simply just being erratic and quite irrational thinking, snappy, irritated. That's like the main part of it. The other part is worrying that people are gonna do me over. That's another part of being anxious. It's just another part of massive issue for me is like trust, because I haven't trusted people. Definitely working on it, because that's quite draining as well. But yeah, I think it's like I have panic attacks too. It's a massive spectrum of being irritated, not wanting to talk to anyone. That's like the lowest part of it, where I'm just sitting like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I just don't feel like talking today. I don't want to see anyone. That you can go from that to having a full-on panic attack. That's like probably where I say to myself, I've had anxiety. I've had a bit of anxiety today,
Mm.
and that's obviously where you don't want it to get to. So understanding all the other little layers of it helps stop getting to that panic attack.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting hearing you talk there as well. So with when you're talking there about you've sort of you've suppressed some memories or you weren't present in the
Mm,
moment, so those memories have gone. I've got a very similar thing to one period of my life where some of it was so uncomfortable that I blocked out like years, but even stuff that was good that happened because I just didn't want to look back at anything. I found
yep.
looking at or talking about the past so painful that I was like, I'm just going to be now or maybe into the future, but probably now is safer. And we all know the power of now is a good thing, but also the thing that I learned, and this was from a professional, and I'm very lucky now that with the work I do, I get to talk to amazing people all the time who have so much knowledge. And I was having, well, I still get these panic attacks where the sensation that I get is that I'm leaving my body. I'm literally sort of disassociating with my own life. I'm just floating out here, and it's a really physical, visceral experience. And I was like, I don't want that anymore. I don't like it when it happens. I feel like I'm going to faint. I feel like I might be embarrassed because I could be out with my kids or whatever, or at work if I'm interviewing someone or whenever the moment arises.
Mm,
And this particular professional's thinking was, I am doing that because so much of my life has been disassociating from my life. So I need to very slowly and gently bring back in those memories, like not necessarily the painful ones, but some of the ones that I've lost that were all right and that were quite
actually
good.
good.
And I just
Yeah.
thought that was, I'd never made that connection before.